All right, good morning, everyone. This is Bonnie Watson with the Telluride Foundation, and welcome to Southwest Colorado's regional business call that we have every Friday at noon. Thanks for joining us again today. Emily, you can go to the next slide. A big thanks to all of our sponsors that are involved in backing this call and supporting this call. So as always, thanks for all your hard work behind all this. Next slide, please. So we're super excited today. We have two really awesome things going on. We have Jackie with Senator Bennett's office, who is going to talk to us about some proposed legislation first thing this morning that is very, very applicable to small business owners. They've done a great job of listening to the needs of some of the issues that we're seeing with PPP and some gap funding. So we're going to hear from Jackie, and then we are going to go into a panel of small business owners, and it is forward thinking. And so we've invited a few different business owners from all across really the western slope of Colorado. We have Brittany Bowen with Barlosophy in Grand Junction. We have Kylie with Moxie Salon in Telluride, Colorado. We have Chris with Treads and Threads in Gunnison, Colorado. And then we have Galit Korngold with Wild Gals Market in Nucla, Colorado. And this panel is here today to talk to you about how they responded to COVID and how they changed their business model and they pivoted in the market and how they changed their marketing strategy. So really great conversation that we hope will happen today. And we really encourage you to ask questions as we go through this, especially if you're a small business owner listening in and maybe starting to navigate some of these waters. As always, please go ahead and use that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen there to ask any questions. Chat is disabled at this point. So Jackie, I'm not going to waste any time. I am going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Good morning, everyone, or I guess now it's afternoon. We're 2 after. So I just want to say a big thanks again to all the partners involved in allowing us this short little segue about our ongoing legislation. So please know all the business owners who are on this call, we are inviting you to provide us feedback through that email you see on your screen there, startupco@colorado.edu. So I'm going to talk about the following new bipartisan proposals to support our hardest hit small and mid-sized businesses. And so this comes from Senators Bennett and Young. These are 2 different proposals, 2 pieces that are key. And so next slide, please. Great. And then next. Here's our first piece that is essentially a near-term problem solving for the current PPP situation. So, and please know, I'm going to bump this link again, but it'll be bennett.senate.gov, where you can look up more information about this in our news release section. But so this PPP fix, we have been doing our best to listen to the most pressing concerns of small businesses. And so we have heard you and recognize that the 8-week PPP period is not going to be enough for folks. So this first fix, near-term fix, so meaning kind of the current present day, we're trying to bump that period up to 16 weeks in order to really accommodate some of the concerns that small businesses are experiencing in that regard. So next slide here for the second piece of these proposals from Senators Bennett and Young. And so here we are, we're with the Restart program. So the idea here is to provide forgiveness based on revenue losses, because obviously, as we're seeing with PPP, again, the payroll issue is something we're hearing that's been problematic. So when we're addressing forgiveness in this regard, we're also speaking to, in a sense, it's linked to what we've also heard from businesses, which is that the previous limitation of that 25% cap on non-payroll forgiveness, that is proving to be, again, a limitation. So that wasn't in the statute that Congress passed in the most recent stimulus package, but it was a stipulation later added by the U.S. Small Business Administration. So once again, this is our invitation from Senator Bennett's office to you. Please, by all means, provide your feedback for us on this legislation, because this is developing in real time. So I'll just wrap this up once again and say thank you to all the partners on the call who accommodated us to be able to do our jobs, to get the feedback that we so value from Coloradoans as we develop this legislation. Please know, just like Michael constantly says, we do not have a monopoly on good ideas. So if you can take a look at this proposal, and again, just email your feedback to the email startupco@colorado.edu. and then we'll be set, because we truly would appreciate your time, so we can make this the best piece of legislation on behalf of Coloradoans as we experience this crisis together. So with that, I will leave the floor. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, Jackie. And again, folks, you can go to startupco@colorado.edu if you have any feedback, and we highly encourage that for Senator Bennett's office. And again, Jackie, thank you for your team and all the hard work that you've put together. It's very needed in ironing out some of the kinks here in this federal program. So thanks for that. Awesome. Next slide, please. So we're going to move into our panel today. So we heard from a lot of people. We're constantly talking to people, boots on the ground, saying, every week, what's the best thing that we can talk about? What would most benefit you? And so this week we decided to focus on some of those smaller industries that may not be getting the attention that some of those bigger industries are getting. And we thought, what could we bring to the table? And so we've brought a panel of very strong women and men that have done something really unique in their business modeling. So we're very excited to have these folks on today. So I'm going to give each panelist 3 minutes to start. So we'll go with Brittany, Kylie, Chris, and Galit. And what I want you to answer within those 3 minutes are, who are you, what you do in your business, and how you have adapted your business model to this crisis. So next slide, please. So I'd like to introduce you to Brittany Bowen and her husband, Andy Bowen, with Barlosophy, and the floor is yours, guys.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brittany. This is my husband, Andy.
Hello.
And we own Barlosophy in Grand Junction. We are a small bar studio. We've been open for 3 years, so bar Pilates, not drinking. And online is something that we had always kind of talked about doing, wanted to do, but couldn't necessarily, or didn't necessarily have the time or need to go into it, especially at the level of production that we would want to do it. And so going into COVID, we were forced to completely change our business model overnight. My husband, Andy, is our media guy. He does all of our videos. He makes our music. So having him as a tool was really crucial for us at this time. And we have gone to all online classes, and it has completely saved our business. We weren't ready for it, but being forced into it was the best thing that honestly could have happened for us, and something that we'll hold on to after this.
Yeah, it forced our hand. Our perspective had to change.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Just out of curiosity, as people are working out, and they're people really, or at least I'm speaking for myself, I love working out with people in a gym. How has your customer base responded to working out at home? And you said that you think that you'll keep that implemented in your business. What has the feedback been?
Well, at first, I think everyone was kind of stripped away from everything they knew. So in the beginning, it was really a lifesaver for people, and keeping that community. And we started like a private Facebook page so that people could post their videos of their workouts and be encouraging each other, so they still felt that sense of community.
Yeah, it can be easy to think that because you're not meeting in person that you're going to lose that sense of community. And it's frightening as the business owner when that's like where you've really pivoted most of where you're coming from. We love community. We want and believe in people coming together and pushing each other. And we just had to really think, you know what, it can still be done. We have to try it in a new format. And thankfully, the skill set that she and I can combine together gives us the opportunity to still go into the gym and record these workouts in the familiar space that the clients love and remember. But then also we can personalize these videos a little bit for when people have asked for specific kinds of workouts, or maybe they want to see what form is supposed to be like. This now gives us this brand new chance to maybe help people that were afraid to come in because they didn't know about form.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to be seen as weak or whatever. Like, this is actually opening some other doors too. So,
totally.
And the community through Facebook, it's not quite the same, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, you
Yeah.
get on there and you read people uh, finding some new strength that they didn't have before, or they were able to achieve the full workout like they never thought they could, and they share that with someone else. Or some of the girls make their own little funny videos that are
Mhm.
kind of mocking us, but it's funny, and that creates a banter, and so there is community still there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to come back to that community piece at the end. Thank you. Kylie. Kylie with
Hi.
Salon is on in Telluride, Colorado. Kylie, tell us about you and what you've done.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much for having me on this call. I have a little hair studio in Telluride, and so it was a big change for me to figure out how to go from offering a service to offering a different form of something. So I ended up launching a thing called the Moxie Box, and my salon is called Moxie. So I just figured, I have all this retail sitting around the salon, and um, I just didn't know how to get rid of it. And I thought of doing curbside pickup. A lot of places were doing curbside pickup and doing product pickup. But I think for me, I don't feel like every client really knows what to use on their hair all the time. So I didn't really see that being successful, people calling in and requesting a specific product to pick up. So I ended up having a lot of fun with it. I've retailed a few different things. I've had jewelry, mostly hair products. But then I had fun with it, and I started ordering things for these boxes that I would never retail in my salon, things like nail polish and face masks and lotions and I don't know, just kind of some fun little things. And my goal was to sell 10 boxes. And I don't know, I initially wasn't going to do any like side business. I was just kind of really waiting it out and hoping I'd be able to go back to the salon. But when I heard that April was going to be closed, I needed a way to find a way to pay my rent. So I launched the boxes, and I actually also offered color kits. So people could do their own color at home without having to resort to box color. Box color is really bad for your hair. So it was kind of also a reach to be like, please don't box color your hair. Please just get a hold of me and I'll make a box for you. So the boxes varied. Most of them I was trying to sell for around 150, but I also got some people who were wanting to order one, but wanted a lower price point. So I started just making custom boxes for different clients. For things that I know would suit them. And that's what's fun for me, is that I do know most of my clients really well. I've built really fun relationships with them. So I feel like I was able to customize each box for things that they would really like for themselves. So whether it was a color kit or hair products or, whatever it be. So it ended up being really successful. I sold 18 of them. So I was able to pay my rent and move forward. And now I'm having fun. Now I kind of want to do I did a Mother's Day box for Mother's Day. I want to do like a Dapper Dad box for Father's Day. And I don't really know what this will bring, but I've never done mailing business, but it's a really great thing to have now on the side. And it's something that I'm just going to continue to do for the salon. And I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So
Great. Well, what a creative idea. I've heard nothing but good things about Moxie boxes and Telluride. So
thank you.
sharing. Great. Next slide, please. Chris, owner of Treads and Threads. So tell us what you do, who you are, and how you've pivoted your business model.
Yeah, I'm obviously Chris Osnes. Been in clothing and shoes for 21 years now. This was a large change for us. We had 10 full-time employees before COVID started, and went to one within one day. And that would be myself. I even had to let my wife go during this process. And so we turned to Facebook and social media, Instagram, those kind of things, to try and liquidate our winter goods, because we knew by the time we would get to reopen that it would be very hard to move that inventory. And so we were very successful in continuing to move the bar, as I call it. When we closed on March 16th, I had 10 days worth of cash in the bank. And we've been able to stay afloat ever since. Now we're into June, that I can pay bills through June. We were able to reopen on Friday. I think, okay. Yeah, so we were open on Friday, and we have actually experienced sales higher than last year for the same weekend, for the same week and last weekend. So yeah, we were at 41% of total sales, normal sales for March and April. And so far we've almost sold as much as all of April in May. So that's the incentive that's out there for people when they do get to reopen and get to have people come into their shops and do things. That was the big push, and now we are forced into having an e-commerce site that we are working on, and I hired someone full time just to do as their only job. So
I was just going to ask Chris, in this transition, was Facebook the only platform you used to help liquidate inventory?
Facebook was our most successful. We have like a marketplace, we have different things, but we also, our county design, our chamber had a business site. So businesses could get more resources, and we actually had more business on that than we did on our own site, our own Facebook page, or on our Gunnison marketplace, which is for the Gunnison County. But we also pay Facebook to advertise. So we were paying about $100 a month in advertising just on Facebook. And then we also used a little bit of Instagram, but did not get as much following there, even though we have quite a few subscribers to follow us.
Great. Yeah, those social media platforms are a huge piece of leverage right now when we work into e-commerce and away from some storefront models. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Galit, next slide, please. Great. Galit with Wild Gals Market, also a retailer of food. We'd love to hear what you're doing and how you've made it through COVID and what you've done to pivot your business model.
Hi. Oh, wait, I have to start my video.
No worries.
Sorry. All right. Hi, I'm Galit from Wild Gals Market in Int'l. I opened my business in November of last year, and was a pretty slow start. I'm in a kind of a tight community that's not terribly open to new things, but it was slowly starting to pick up, and then COVID happened and people stopped leaving here to go shopping in the big towns, and I saw my business explode, and wasn't totally prepared for that. Luckily, I've already been sourcing a lot of my food locally. I get local meat, I get local produce. It's springtime, things are becoming more abundant. I'm in the store right now, and there's a lineup at the cash. So my biggest challenge with COVID has actually been help, because I've been running the show by myself, and it's been getting really hard to do all alone. And so I wanted to hire people, but I'm not eligible for PPP because I haven't had anybody on payroll before. So right now I've been trading help for groceries, which has been working out for my people, but it's been really good, and happy to see the trend to local food. I don't know, it's just enabled me to get more product in the store, fresher things, and it's been super appreciated. I don't know what else to say. It's been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Newcastle is a really interesting place, and all over the southwest part, or the West End, and what we call it, is somewhat of a food desert sometimes. And so I think you've provided a really critical resource in providing and sourcing some other producers. Great. It sounds like you're busy there. So
yeah, there's, like I said, there's a lineup.
So look at that. Great. So I'm just going to ask some questions generally of the panel. So this will be more of a roundtable discussion. And I really encourage people listening in, especially if you're a small business owner, or just have a general question here, to submit it in the Q&A section down there. Galit, just for a minute, I'm just going to ask you to mute to lower that back.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. No worries. Thank you. And you can pop in at any time here, business owners, when you want to answer this, and keep it about 30 seconds to a minute when you answer these questions. But I'm curious to see kind of what your mental process was when you went through pivoting your business model. You know, what questions did you ask yourself? And what were some of your concerns doing this?
I know for me personally, doing the Moxie boxes, I had never done mail business before. And so for me, it was really figuring out, okay, I'm mailing 16 boxes today. Do I drive these all to the post office? Can I print and ship from home? Do I need a scale to weigh these? Like, it was just a whole different mindset of business. It was really out of the salon, out of the one-on-one customer service, and really into how can I create that personal relationship inside this box and make them feel special when they receive that. So that was my challenge, was just figuring out the new system of mail business instead of in-person business for me.
Great.
Yeah, for us, like with our business, we have members that are paying a membership every single month. And then you also have these bigger studios that are already doing online. And so people look online and they're like, the next day, when are you starting online classes? What are you doing? And so for us, the best thing for us was actually to take a step back for like 2 days, because we also have to be like leaders of our tribe, and people have this, they rely on us in this specific way. For us, the best thing was to step back and to breathe so that we could move forward like on a good, strong note.
Yeah,
doing what we were proud of.
we really believe in quality
Yeah.
across the board in anything. And so, you know, to give the same quality we would give at the studio through a video format was kind of scary, you know, like that's a challenge. But you know, lucky, and it's not that you need to have what we have, but lucky for us, we have me who had, you know, 15 years playing with cameras and making music. And so it made sense to just do this.
Yeah.
But with so many people that were putting out videos like right away, it felt like the pressure, we needed to do it. But to actually take the time to make something that was quality, I think ended up paying itself off.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, as you guys have moved from in-person classes to online content, have you changed your pricing model at all?
For online, we have. We've been really fortunate that a lot of our members have actually stayed paying their membership, which was obviously not a requirement. Like if people needed to cancel or switch to just online, we accommodate for that. But we're just fortunate to have a lot of clients that were able to continue paying their membership. But we did adjust to just an online membership. We have that option now too. So
Great.
Yeah, it cut what we were making down quite a bit. You know, since we're talking about business here, I mean, yes, we want everyone to be happy, but we also have to pay our bills.
yeah.
So you know, we'd have to double or triple our numbers for it to stay the same.
Yeah.
But because of the internet, that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, one thing that I've worked with a lot of subscription-based businesses, and they ask me what's your biggest piece of advice, and it's do not cancel your memberships or pause things. Try to find some other value, and I think you guys have done a great job at that. Chris or Galit, do you have any feedback?
Yes. You know, the very first thing I did, I found out about an hour before our county was going to shut our store down to curbside. And so I brought in all of my staff and I said, it's time, I'm going to teach you guys how to apply for unemployment because I need to take care of you first, and made sure that they all knew they were job attached. And then we immediately, you know, it was heartbreaking because it's been, you know, 21 years in business. You kind of feel like you've figured out how to do this, and all of a sudden everything changed. It's still changing every day. I told my wife the other day, my wife is 60 and she's not allowed to come to work. And so she has to be at home. And so I told her, I said, this is overwhelming without her. And so she tries to support me from the house, but it's just so different because we've divided our business. Our business is 6,000 square feet. And so we have definite jobs, and we have 3 full-time managers that do different portions of our job. So it's a really large organization as far as the way the structure works. And so it's really hard to be all 5 of those people at once. Even though sales were way down, I was still having to work about 12 hours a day just to keep up with things. And now, you know, with spring here, we're running faster than we've ever run trying to get product into the stores because we have our winter stuff, but we don't have any of our spring stuff. And so the mind just is going all the time. And it's just, it's overwhelming at times to try and reboot the system since I figured I knew what I was doing, but now it's completely different.
And Chris, can you give us a metric on how successful you were in liquidating all that winter inventory? Can you give us an idea of how much you moved?
I probably only moved about 20%.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a ton of inventory left. I mean, I make the joke at sometimes that it might be more beneficial to burn it next winter for fuel. So, it's, you'll see a lot of, in the industry of in apparel and footwear, a lot of even spring 20, there's not going to be a new spring 21. Most of everything that's spring 20 will become spring 21. So you won't see a lot of new styles, a lot of color changes from 20 to 21. So that's what's happening in our industry is a lot of things are on hold. Hoka, for instance, kind of shoes that we sell, they discontinued a bunch of colors. And then all of a sudden they added the colors back and said, we're not going to put any new colors out. We're going to let you sell what you have and just keep making the ones you had. So there's a lot of collaboration too with our vendors, which is great.
Yeah, moving inventory in retail can be challenging. And Galit, I'm curious, do you have any feedback for the group on challenges you faced or questions you asked yourself in a retail space, especially with food that, goes bad and spoils quickly?
Like I said, the trend was to stay local. So I actually have been able to move more product than ever, which has been great. Now I'm like, my biggest fear right now and in adapting is that people may stop shopping local, and I've kind of upped my game and have had a lot of fun shopping for food. So as a matter of fact, today and tomorrow I'm having a big fat sale on produce because I'm closed on Sundays and Mondays and I don't want it to wreck and spoil. So that's been the challenge, but it hasn't really been a challenge.
Yeah, great. Let's see if I have a question here. Oh, I guess not. I'm sorry, I was reading chat. I'm just curious from everybody, what have I don't know if maybe your competitors have been doing anything, but have you seen anything that competitors have been doing that you would like to implement? Maybe your idea came from that. Maybe it was something that this pivot is something that you developed on your own. What else are you maybe seeing in the industry right now that might be beneficial for people hearing or listening, excuse me? And maybe you're at the forefront of it. Maybe you're not, maybe you're the first person to do something like this that you know of in your industry, but I'd just be curious to see what else you're hearing.
I'd be willing to chime in on that one. I think the big thing is we all have to rely on our relationships that we have with our customers. We all live in smaller towns, and so we do have people who are willing to come and shop at our stores and really do that. And also at the same time, take care of people in our community as well. We launched a couple things, like we always give a teacher discount in May, just as a thank you for the year. And we continued to do that, even though it's been kind of hard, we still did the discount for our teachers. And one of the big bike races here got canceled that supports our Gunnison trails. And so I developed a sticker that we just purchased, and $1 of every sale of the sticker goes to Gunnison Trails. And just trying to show that it's not just about creating sales for ourselves, but also to be able to give back, and a lot of people, fortunately for us, we have people, as we all probably do, have summer residents that aren't able to come here, but they're able, our chamber has reached out to our guests from Texas and second homeowners that aren't able to come and those kind of things. And they're calling in droves and buying gift certificates and trying to support businesses. And we have to remember, when people buy gift certificates for our business, it's not only that they want to support you, but they have faith that you'll be there in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in crisis, I said this on the call the other day and some people looked at me, but in crisis, we have to find the good in it and we have to better ourselves from it and find that silver lining. And I think this just goes to show, especially with you, Chris, and retail, that building that community support is so critical, because that community always comes back to support you again. And we're seeing a lot of philanthropic things happen like that, where, you donate $1, or, the pay it forward system where I buy a coffee and I give a coffee, or I buy a dinner and I give a dinner. So I just think it's really great to see the communities rally around these small business. It's a big, big piece of support. Any other feedback?
Just in kind of in line with what he was saying about competition, with the question about competition, and then what he was saying about relationships. I think that's the most important thing, because it can be scary to look at competition. I know for me, I tend to look out at what the best thing is and try to emulate it. And a lot of times you just don't have the resources you would need to be at that level. And that might scare you from trying anything at all. So Brittany and I would want to encourage any business owner that is looking at the competition and trying to see where they measure up, to maybe ignore that a little bit, and to go back into the relationships and to go back into the clients that they've established something with, and trust that you've developed something that is going to help you survive this, and put your efforts there moving forward.
And it's a really forgiving time also,
Yes.
because everyone understands that this is something completely brand new. It's not like if you fail, or you can't do it like to the level that you would want, that people are going to look down upon you. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's like, good for you for going out and being creative and trying something new, and just like, this is that time to get creative and do the things that you maybe didn't think you could do, or have the you have that flexibility and that relief and the grace from everybody else to like be supported
Try
in those ventures. Yeah,
best time to try ever.
totally.
Yeah, we have to give everyone quite a bit of grace right now, because again, we like to use that word unprecedented all the time, but it really is true. Nobody's been here, nobody's done this, and we're all learning as we go. So
Yeah,
absolutely. Kylie or Galit, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I do. So I thought outside the box a little bit. I do a lot of cooking for the store, and I sell prepared homemade food here. I was seeing that there was a big need for food in Telluride. So I connected with a woman who runs a business called Vicky's Fresh Food Movement, and started to cook for Telluride. And she takes orders online, not just Telluride, Placerville as well, and a couple of other places. And so every week we crank out a meat dish, a vegan dish, and I also have started making an immunity booster called liposomal encapsulated vitamin C, which we've been moving, and it's been keeping me busy, but it's actually been doing really, really well, that little sideline of the business. That's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think you've pointed out something so important, Galit, is that instead of looking at competitors, maybe something that we can do to pivot our model is to collaborate with competitors.
Collaboration is critical, absolutely. Without her, it just wouldn't happen. As a matter of fact, with the Fresh Food Hub in Norwood, we also share a driver and delivery service. So I don't have to go to Montrose, for example, to pick up my dairy. We share the driver, which has really helped a lot. And we help each other out that way. When I find a good resource for fresh greens, I share it with them, and vice versa. So we're helping each other and keeping all our businesses going.
Absolutely. And especially important in rural places, certainly. Kylie, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely love what she said about collaboration as opposed to like the competition. I know for me, I love being in the hair industry, and I immerse myself a lot into different educational platforms, and I have like a business coach, and there were all these things that were spamming all over Instagram for the hair world about, join this free coaching program during COVID. And it's really hard to pull yourself up out of like this darkness of when you're used to running a business. And so I know for me, I was able to hop on a group phone call, Zoom calls, weekly calls on Tuesdays. And I had a group of other hairstylists around the United States. None of them were really local, but there were like 8 of us. And we all invested our time every Tuesday to just kind of talk about our industry and what are we going through? How can we create something new and make our clients still know that like we're here for you, and we know this is hard, but we want to be here for you while making revenue and paying our bills, you know. So for me, it was so healthy and so important for me to have a community of people I felt like I could talk to in my industry to think of ideas. And there were some really great ideas. Some of them I did end up doing. I was like, I'm going to start with the boxes. If this doesn't go well, then I'll reroute again and I'll try something else. And I've seen things, you know, from raffles and gift cards and, you know, I mean, there's been so many neat ideas, and it's been really cool also seeing other friends of mine who own salons in other states, how they've been able to pick themselves up and continue to make a revenue, you know, on such a different scale from being in the service industry. So I know for me that the whole collaboration and I was still looking at competition too, but I was really reaching out for groups who were looking for that in each other. And that was a really, really helpful and healthy thing for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that collaboration is so important. So we're going to finish up the Q&A here, and I'm just going to ask all of our panelists one last question, and that is, and you'll have about 1 minute to answer this. What is the piece of advice that you wish you had before you started this and pivoting your model? What would you tell other entrepreneurs listening in today?
I would tell them kind of, I really like what they were talking about with the stepping back. Be graceful with yourself. Don't feel the need to rush into just producing something because there's a pivot right now in the whole world. Just take some time to yourself, let it sink in, and create a route that makes you excited, that's best for you to keep going, and don't let the pressure take that over.
Yeah, something we constant, and just to, you know, back that, Kylie, is something I constantly tell people is take a deep breath, take a beat, and step back and look at the full picture, and stop letting panic make your decisions, because we are all guilty of that in this time, I think. But Brittany, were you going to chime in?
Yeah, just kind of going off of that, like allow yourself this time to breathe and explore what this means, and don't be afraid to adapt. The chances of business and life going exactly back to normal is kind of slim. And so be coachable, be adaptable, and don't be afraid to be bold and brave. And also don't be ashamed if you're not feeling that way either.
And focus your energy.
Yeah.
There's a focus. All the time we're spending on the scary stuff with the news and what we're finding out, it can be pretty overwhelming, enough to take all your mental energy away from you. So if you can refocus that on your business and refocus that energy on moving forward and making progress with stuff that is good, that reserve the tank, whatever's in the reserve tank, use it for that stuff.
Absolutely. Galit, were you going to chime in there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't be afraid to get help. Get help if you need it. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I have a really great team of ladies working with me when I need it. It's been huge.
Absolutely. Yep. Use your resources.
Yeah.
Chris, final words.
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. It's, you know, humble yourself to know that you don't know everything. Surround yourself with great people. Give back to other business owners. If you're doing well, you know, on a day, you're going to have a breakdown at some point. So reach out to the people that are breaking down, and they'll turn around and support you. We have to come together as communities, business owners throughout all of Colorado and the world. We need to also support each other. You know, getting involved in, like Kylie did with other salons, just to know that thinking outside the box and realizing, you know, we're not competitors against each other. We're an industry that helps each other. And so just always reach out. And, you know, it doesn't matter how many years you've been in business, the game is completely different than it used to be. And now is the time to think outside the box. And if you need some help doing that, find someone who can think out of the box and help you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. Well, I just want to go ahead and thank all of our panelists today. I really hope that the information that came out of today's call was insightful and helpful. And I encourage you to go and check out all of the websites of our small businesses. They have, I've looked at all of them, and they've just done a nice job marketing, and it may give you some inspiration as you move through the next few weeks and months here as we find a new level of normal. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. So just as we wrap up here in the last 5 minutes, thanks, Emily. So again, here's some additional resources. You can find all of the information that we talked about today on the Telluride Foundation's website there. And for more business resources, you can go to choosecolorado.com. And SBDC is also a great resource if, like Galit said, if you're looking for help or need some counseling at this time, certainly a great resource. And then you can always visit startupcolorado.org for all of our additional resources for entrepreneurial related information as well. And as always, and go to the next slide. As always, we will send a follow-up email that will be coming from MailChimp. And I just want to go back to Senator Bennett's office really quick. If you have any feedback on the proposed legislation, you can go to an email startupco@colorado.edu. You can also just reply directly back to the MailChimp email. It goes to the same address. You can apply, or you can reply to last week's email, this week's email, if you have any feedback or any questions today whatsoever. And we always encourage, we have 3 other regional calls back to back after our call today. And so we encourage you to go to or visit any of those regional calls and listen in with our Northwest, Southeast, and Northeast partners as well. And next slide. And then something else we'd like to make you aware of, and I will put this in the follow-up email, is Startup Colorado has been doing a podcast. They've been doing a really phenomenal job in crisis solution, addressing that for entrepreneurs. And it's really great. It's crisis solution for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. So every week you get to hear from an entrepreneur, boots on the ground like you are in your business. And I actually went and listened to some of the most recent episodes, and they're really fantastic. We Can Do This, a note from a Colorado attorney, I thought was a really great episode. They have all sorts of episodes out there, but some of the most recent episodes are Reopening the Trail Map, Finding Common Clarity in the Chaotic Mind. And you can go and subscribe at startupcolorado.org/podcast. And then as we wrap up today, I just wanted to go ahead and let you know about our next week's call. We are really focusing with our team as we're moving forward and getting into a new level of normal. We would like to and are working on being more proactive and giving you information about the following week's calls. And so next week we have already got it set. We've been listening, very boots on the ground with everything going on, and leases and rent issues and navigating some of the legal liability involved with renting a commercial space is very top of mind. And so we have invited an attorney from Durango to talk about how to basically navigate lease contracts, ensuring worker safety and customer safety as well during this time. So it'll be a very interesting and very informative presentation, because we understand that is very top of mind for many, many people at this time. So again, you are always welcome to reach out to us. You can reply directly back to that MailChimp email, and we are happy to answer any questions or point you in the right direction for any resources here. We are excited, and thank you for all the people on the call today. Can't wait to see everyone and talk to everyone next week as well. We hope you have a wonderful Friday. Get out there and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks, everyone.